Okay, so we're off. We're still doing indices. And we're on page 247 of your books. We're going to start off with question 20. So, question 20, there's a couple of different parts to it. It says express 4 and the number 32 in the form 2 to the n. So, express 4 in the form 2 to the n. So in other words, a base number of 2, 2 to the power of what gives 4, has to be 2 to the power 2. And I don't think that's too difficult. Next thing, express 32. So 2 by 2 is 4, by 2 is 8, by 2 is 16, so it's 2 to the power of 5. On to the B part of that question. You're told that 4 to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 32. Now obviously you're going to have to use the stuff that you've just seen. So 4 is the same as 2 to the power of 2. I'm going to put that in a bracket and it'll still to be the x plus 1. And 32 is 2 to the power of 5. This area here, a power to a power, multiply. So you're going to have 2. 2 by x is 2x plus 2. That's equal to 2 to the power of 5. At this stage now you can cancel the base numbers. You can drop the powers down. So 2x plus 2 is equal to 5. And x is equal to 3 over 2. Okay. Question 21. Find the value of n for which, so it's a similar question, you've got 3 to the 2n plus 1, and that's equal to 243. So by looking at this question, you're saying to yourselves, I can do nothing with it until the base numbers are the same. So in other words, what you're really saying to yourself is 3 to the power of what gives me 243. So you can try a couple of different combinations. 3 to the power of 5 I think will work. So 3 to the power of 5 there, and then leave 3 to the power of 2n plus 1 alone. Now you can cancel the base numbers. And you're done. By the way, lads, just as a check, and you can do this with every question, if you take the value of n and put it back into the original question, it should balance. So the original question was 3 to the 2n plus 1, 243. So that means 3 to the power of 2 multiplied by 2 plus 1. Working that out, that's 3 to the 5. So I know I'm right. Okay, so don't forget, you can check all of the answers for all of these, and it's a particularly good practice to get into with these kind of questions, the equation questions. Okay. Let's see what else. Question 22. So you're asked to do lots of different things. You're asked to get it all in the same base number. So root 2, 8, and 8 root 2. You're asked to put it in the form 2 to the n, and you're also told that n is an element of Q. So just a little reminder, the Q here means that it's rational. In other words, a fraction. Now it is a little bit more than a fraction, but for the moment we'll just take it that what it's telling you is that the power, it can be positive or it can be negative, it can be a whole number or it can be a fraction. Okay? So root 2, well that's 2 to the power of a half, so that's that one done. 8, Well, 2 by 2 is 4 by 2 is 8, so that's to the power of 3. So to work this one out, you just multiply the two of them together. So 8 means 2 to the power of 3, multiplied by, you can use brackets or you can use a dot, whatever you want, 2 to the power of a half. When you're multiplying in indices, you add the powers up here. So this really means 2 to the power of 3 and a half, but I would prefer 2 to the power of 7 over 2. You can now go on to the second part of the question and look to solve it. It says 2 to the power of 3x minus 1 is equal to 8 root 2. Base numbers will cancel, hopefully you recognise that. 3x minus 1 is equal to 7 over 2. Different ways to deal with this. I think the best way is to multiply across everything by 2. So 6x minus 2 is equal to 7. 6x will equal to 9. X will equal to 9 over 6, which is 3 over 2. And of course, don't forget, you can always sub that back in and check your answer. Okay, I'm going to do question 24. Actually, sorry, I'll do 23 as well. It's good. Number 23. You've got 3 to the power of 2n plus 1 over 3 to the power of n plus 1 is equal to 9. But I'm just going to straight away, hopefully you spot the base numbers need to be same, so 3 squared. That's this bit here is division. That means I subtract the powers. But watch please how I do it carefully. It's 3. It's always top minus bottom, so it's 2n plus 1 minus. Make sure you put it in a bracket, please. Now you can tidy up the power if you want, or you can just say, well, I'll cancel those to make it a little bit easier to manage. So 2n plus 1. That minus has to multiply into both parts. So it's minus n minus 1 is equal to 2. So n equals 2, and that's your answer. And you can of course double check that. Let me see, question 24. Question 24 says, if 8 to the power of x is equal to 4 to the power of 3 minus 2 to the power of 5, find the value of x. Now I think with this question, and the reason I think it's an important one, is there is no rule of indices that allows us to deal with what's on that right hand side there. 4 to the 3 minus 2 to the 5, they're not being added. Well, even if they were, there's still no rule. They're not being multiplied and they're not being divided. So there's no rule of indices that allows us to work with that. So the only thing that we can do for the moment is work it out. So you put it into your calculator and see what comes back. And you'll get 32. You're probably realising a link between 8 and 32. 2 by 2 is 4, by 2 is 8. 2 by 2 is 4, by 2 is 8, by 2 is 16, so that's 2 to the power of 5. Power to a power means you multiply. Base numbers cancel for me. And x is equal to 5 over 3. Okay. Number 27. No, number 25. Express 1 in the form 3 to the n. Well, there's a little rule of indices that says any number to the power of 0 is 1. So that's what that will look like. Okay. Moving along, it says then, find two values of x for which. So what are we told? We're told that 3 to the power of 2x squared divided by 3 to the power of x plus 1 is equal to 1, but we now know that that means that it's equal to 3 to the 0. This is division here on the left hand side, so you'll subtract the powers. So it'll be 2x squared minus x plus 1. Cancel off the base numbers. And it's going to be a quadratic. You'll finish the quadratic whatever way you're used to. I won't do that because I want to just get this last bit done. So question, let's have a look. Question 26. Not a very likely exam question, but I'll do it for you anyway. So you're told f of x is equal to 4 to the x. Part 1 of the question asks you to evaluate f of 2. Just find it. What is f of 2? So lads, if I sub in 2 for x on the left hand side, well then I have to do the same thing on the right hand side. So it'll be 4 to the power of 2. That's just 16. Part 2, it's a half. So it'll be 4 to the power of a half. Now you can put that into your calculator and that's fine, or hopefully you'll spot that that really means the root of 4, which is 2. Part 3. F of 0 means 4 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 in indices is 1, or in any branch of maths that you deal with. F of 3 over 2 means 4 to the power of 3 over 2. You've dealt with this plenty of times. It means 4 to the power of a half all cubed. That means the root of 4 cubed, 2 cubed. So the answer there would be 8. Last part, part 5. F of 5 over 2. You'll deal with this in a similar way. It'll be 4 to the 5 over 2. It'll be 4 to the power of a half, so break up that 5 over 2. Working downwards, root 4 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 5, and I think that's 32. Okay, that's your indices.